winding it up, you guys. I just will have a few minutes on title ad valorem tax, and then we'll turn it back over to GMA. In 2012, the General Assembly changed the way that we tax motor vehicles. Under the prior law, you paid sales tax when you bought a vehicle generally, and then annual ad valorem tax every year on your birthday when it's time to re-register. Under House Bill 386, you now pay, purchase a vehicle, transfer the title, and pay this one-time title ad valorem tax, which kind of looks like ad valorem tax and kind of looks like ad valorem tax. It's kind of a blend of both. The title ad valorem tax is administered, the tax is collected, distributed, accounted for through the Georgia Registration and Title Information System, which is managed by the Georgia Department of Revenue. When a person purchases a vehicle, they have to go and when a citizen purchases a vehicle, they have to go get their Georgia registration and their title, and they do that at their county tax office, the county where they're required to register their vehicle, their home county. They pay the 7% ad valorem tax, title ad valorem tax to their county tax commissioner. They also apply for the title, pay an $18 title fee and a $20 registration fee. But that's how the tax is attributed to you in your jurisdiction, your cities, is that the application and the tax have got to be paid to that home county tax commissioner. If a person purchases a vehicle from a motor vehicle dealer, the dealer, regardless of where that dealer is in the state, the dealer is required to take that application on behalf of the taxpayer and accept the tax payment on behalf of the taxpayer, but they have to deliver that application and that tax to the home county of that taxpayer. So again, that's how you get credited with that ad valorem tax to your jurisdiction. The tax calculation kind of looks like this on the slide. The fair market value is at 100%, not 40% like the ad valorem on the birthday tax. If you purchase from a dealer, you can offset the fair market value with the value of a trade-in if you traded something in. If you purchase with a casual sale, you cannot offset by any trade you make with an individual. But it's the taxable value times the 7% tax rate, and in this example, $2,100 in taxes owed. There are two target amounts that the Revenue Department, the Commissioner, watch for. A state target amount, which it can cause the tax rate to be adjusted. It can go as high as 9%. It's currently at 7%. And then there's a local target amount, which can adjust the split between the county, the locals, and the state. There's a split in the tax between state and local. For the 2015 review period, the Revenue Commissioner has looked at the state target collection amount and determined that that target amount has been exceeded. So the tax rate will remain at 7% for 2016, 17, and 18. And they're set to review that again in 2018. For 2016, there is also a local target amount that has to be looked at, and that could potentially adjust the split. So if that's not met, then the split between the local and the state could change. But the grid kind of looks like this. You can see that the tax rate has been reviewed, and it's 7% currently and will remain 7% through 2018. It'll be reviewed again in 2018 for future. And then the local target amount will adjust that 53.5% versus 46.5% split. The distribution looks like this. The state gets the better than 50% cut out of that $2,100 that we just looked at in the example. Your tax commissioner is going to be receiving that money, and once the distribution is made to the state, there's going to be a pot of money left over. The first section is that blue piece of the pie, and they're going to the tax commissioner is going to true you up to whatever you got in that same month in 2012. So the distributions are made monthly on the 20th of the month following the collection, and so the tax commissioner is going to look back to what you got in 2012 in the same month and true you up to that, so that you're whole for that same time period in 2012. Then the pot of money that's left over is divided into 3 buckets. The first bucket goes to the school board. The second bucket goes to the counties and the cities based on their local option sales tax agreement, if there is local option sales tax in that jurisdiction. If not, then it's population. And then the third bucket goes to the counties and cities based on their special local option sales tax agreement, if there is one, and if not, then population. This is a screenshot out of the gratis system. See in that red print there's an area for the tax commissioner to enter the title ad valorem tax rates as they change over time, if they change over time. And then also a place to enter those local distribution amounts based on the lost and splost agreements that you have. And that's the tax rate at 7%, and then the split between the state and the local also gives the target amounts. This is the buckets after the true up. Remember, the state gets their part, then they true you up to 2012, and then these are the 3 buckets. The blueprint represents the first third, where the school gets 100% of that first third. The second bucket is your lost agreement. And in this example, it's White County. White County Board of Commissioners gets 60% of the second bucket, and City of Cleveland get 20%, City of Helen 20%. We have your local option sales tax agreements in DOR, so we know what they say. And when you renegotiate that, you're going to send us a copy of that. It's very important that Jonathan get that so he can get that distribution right. But you also, when you renegotiate those, and you're required to, every 10 years, but if you were to renegotiate those, at any period in between that, you would want to make sure your tax commissioner knows what that new agreement is. And then the third bucket is printed in red there, and that's based on your SPLOST agreement. We don't have copies of your SPLOST agreement. As you know, we send all the SPLOST money to the county. We distribute the entire portion to the county, and your county is distributing your part to the cities. So that agreement is local, and you would need to make sure that your tax commissioner is updated if those change. Also, some of those SPLOST agreements are not pure percentages. They're like a flat rate and then a percentage after that. So we initially told tax commissioners, go to your cities, go to your county, and decide what percentages to put into gratis, because logically the flat rate stuff doesn't work in TAVT. Some reports that can be printed out of the gratis system: tax distribution summary and control reports, 3/3 distribution reports, the annual true-up. Those might be things you're interested in. Most of the motor vehicle stuff is very confidential. Certainly can't get any information on individual accounts, individual taxpayers' vehicles, or anything like that. But the money report should be available to you. Certain title transfers are exempt from title ad valorem tax. Vehicles owned or leased by the government entities. And then disabled veterans, former prisoners of war, Purple Heart recipients, and Medal of Honor recipients are exempt from birthday tax on certain vehicles that they own and register or lease, and they're also exempt on the title ad valorem tax section as well. The title ad valorem law refers to the birthday tax regarding the exemption. Other exempt title transfers are things listed here: abandoned vehicles, stolen vehicles, foreclosure of security interest. Those types of things are exempt from the title transfer tax. Immediate family member transfers: if the vehicle was previously in the TAVT system and transferred to an immediate family member, then that new owner, that new family member, can pay a lower rate. If the vehicle was under the old birthday system and it transfers to a family member, then they can choose to stay in the old birthday system, or they can pay the 7% tax rate. New Georgia residents have to pay the 7% tax rate on the vehicles they bring in. However, they can pay half of it up front and then half 12 months later. Older vehicles, year model 1963 through 85, pay a lower rate. Now that's an optional title. Those vehicles, if you have a chain of title, you can keep with the chain of title and pay the lower TAVT rate, but you don't have to have a title in Georgia on those year models. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now on that, does that also apply to businesses coming into the state?
Yeah, anybody registering a vehicle, yes, I think it does. Businesses as well.
Unless your business is headquartered in the state, if you're one of the automobile manufacturers.
Oh, okay.
It's a different structure in place.
Yeah, email me that question if you have something more specific, and I'll get some experts to answer it for you, because I don't want to be wrong on that. Okay? ellen.mills@dor.ga.gov. I shouldn't have said it. No, it's okay. My email's out there on the website, so everybody in the world can email me. Vehicles 1963 or vehicles older than 1963, there's no Georgia title option on those. Those would just stay in the birthday tax. Vehicles donated to nonprofits, and those would be vehicles that they're going to fix up and then give to someone who needs it. Those can be taxed at a lower rate. Salvage vehicles pay only the state TAVT, and that's at a 1% rate. Rental vehicles have a 1.25% rate. Buy here, pay here dealers get 2.5 percentage points less than the current rate, and those two types of vehicles are constantly recycling vehicles in and out of inventory, so I suppose that's why the legislature gave them a lower rate. Remember, the commercial IRP vehicles, international registration plan vehicles, are not in birthday tax, and they are not in title ad valorem tax. They are in alternate ad valorem tax, and so that's AAVT. We like acronyms in DOR. Also, trailers, things that are not motorized, are not in TAVT, so they remain under the old birthday tax. Now, if that travel trailer, had a motor and you drove it, then it would be in TAVT. If not, no motor, it stays in the birthday tax. Very specific definition of value for the purpose of title ad valorem tax. If it's a used vehicle, it is basically average wholesale retail, and the Revenue Department produces a motor vehicle assessment manual. We've listed every vehicle that's out there in the world for the most part, and so the value is what that motor vehicle assessment manual says it is. We assume average mileage is average amenities on the vehicle, average condition, so that's the value of for a used motor vehicle. However, if you purchase it, remember, if you purchase from a dealer and you trade something in, you can offset that value to get to a net taxable value by the value of the trade-in. If the vehicle, for whatever reason, is not listed in the motor vehicle assessment manual, then the value is the greater of the bill of sale or a used car market guide, like maybe the NADA book. For a new motor vehicle, the definition of value is the greater of the retail selling price or whatever the motor vehicle assessment manual produced by the department says the value is. So the greater of those two numbers, less if you purchase from a dealer, less any reduction for the value of a trade-in. The fair market value of vehicles in TAVT, just like vehicles in the birthday tax, are appealable in the same manner under 48.5.311, in so much as that can be applicable to a motor vehicle. So that means it can be appealed to the Board of Assessors, and then on up to the Board of Equalization, and then to Superior Court. The House Bill 463 does allow the county tax commissioner to some discretion in adjusting values for used vehicles for things like mileage and condition, and based on a bill of sale or an NADA guide. So the tax commissioner can make some adjustments right there at the counter when they're taking that title application. Many of them don't do that, and but they do have that option if they want to. Most prefer to let the assessors handle the value and they handle the tax collection. TAVT is not entered on the property tax digest. TAVT is 100%, not 40%. It's a 7% rate instead of your local government ad valorem rate. And there's no provision in the TAVT code to either offset your millage rate based on TAVT or to include it on the property tax digest. So it's just not there on the property tax digest. I get that question a lot, but what you do see is your motor vehicle value diminishing over time. So that's really all I have, and I'm gonna, if you have any questions on TAVT, then if not, I will turn it over to Michael with GMA, and we appreciate y'all, and this is a beautiful place. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you all for coming, and thank you again to the staff of DOR for taking time out of their busy month here, and so much time out of these days that we've offered the workshops. And again, we know y'all had a lot. You've got a lot to do too. So thank you for taking time to do this. I see this as a incredible opportunity, and I hope that we'll have something like this moving forward into the next year. So. Be safe going home, and again, I'm here to serve you. My name is Michael McPherson. You can direct any questions to me or Pam, and we will try to get them answered as soon as we possibly can. The Mayor's Day Conference is coming up January 22nd through the 25th. If you haven't signed up to join us in Atlanta, we hope that you'll do so. And again, happy holidays, everybody, and be safe going home.